Verse of the day, January 15th, 2026. Isaiah 61 verse 7. Instead of their shame, my people will receive a double portion, and instead of disgrace, they will rejoice in their inheritance. And so they will inherit a double portion in their land, and everlasting joy will be theirs. In a world frequently marred by shame and disgrace, the message of Isaiah 61 verse 7 resonates powerfully. Instead of their shame, my people will receive a double portion, and instead of disgrace, they will rejoice in their inheritance. This verse stands as a beacon of hope, emphasizing the divine promise of restoration and joy for those who follow God. Isaiah is a prophetic book that conveys God's compassion towards His people, offering a glimpse of His plans for redemption. This specific verse encapsulates a transformative promise. Where once there was shame, there will be abundant blessings. Where there was disgrace, there will be rejoicing. It is a reminder that God understands our struggles and sees our pain. For the people of Israel, who had faced exile and suffering, these words held a profound significance, suggesting that their suffering would not be the end of their story, but the catalyst for rejuvenation. To fully grasp the weight of this promise, we must consider the context in which it was initially delivered. The Israelites had endured significant trials, including exile and depression. This enduring period of shame and struggle made the promise of a double portion even more impactful. In the biblical tradition, the concept of a double portion is rich with meaning. It implies not only compensation for past injustices, but also an overflowing abundance that surpasses what was lost, a testament to the restoration of dignity, blessing, and security. In our modern lives, we can often relate to the feelings of shame and disgrace that Isaiah speaks of, whether personal setbacks, societal issues, or deep-seated insecurities. These experiences can weigh heavily on our spirits. Yet, Isaiah 61 verse 7 offers a radical reorientation. It assures us that these feelings of shame do not define our future. Instead, they invite us to expect the unexpected, namely, a flourishing of hope and joy. The phrase everlasting joy further emphasizes the depth of this promise. Unlike the fleeting happiness we often chase, this joy is rooted in a lasting connection with God and a profound understanding of our identity as His beloved children. It suggests that our joy is not dependent on external circumstances, but rather is a reflection of our relationship with Him. This everlasting joy surpasses the trials of life, reminding us that there is a divine plan at work, one that leads us towards fulfillment and purpose. Moreover, the communal aspect of this promise cannot be overlooked. My people signifies a collective blessing rather than an individual one, highlighting the importance of community and the shared experience of joy and restoration. When one person is uplifted, it can spark hope and encouragement for others. In fostering a supportive community, we help lift each other out of shame, rejoicing in our collective inheritance of joy. The promise of double portion and everlasting joy in Isaiah 61 verse 7. The book of Isaiah stands as a profound testament to divine promise, particularly regarding restoration and redemption for the people of Israel. Chapter 61 delivers a powerful message of hope, focusing on the liberation of captives and the renewal of the brokenhearted. The declaration moves beyond mere recompense. It signifies a complete reversal of fortune, moving from profound humiliation to superlative blessing. For the modern reader, this verse offers vital insights into theological concepts of divine equity, restorative justice, and the nature of true inheritance. The reversal of shame into double portion. The context of Isaiah 61 verse 7 is crucial. The initial condition described is one of pervasive shame and disgrace, likely referring to the suffering endured during exile and depression. Shame implies a public loss of standing, dignity, and identity. The divine response is not simply to remove the shame, but to replace it with the double portion. In ancient Near Eastern understanding, receiving a double portion signified receiving the full rights of the firstborn son, or an inheritance, twice the size of what was lost. This concept illustrates a standard of divine compensation that exceeds mere equality. It speaks to God's boundless capacity to heal and restore what has been damaged or stolen. This principle finds echoes throughout history, where communities recovering from systemic oppression or disaster often seek not just a return to the status quo, but a future marked by greater stability and honor. For instance, post-conflict reconstruction efforts often aim to build better infrastructure and governance than existed before the disruption, symbolizing this kind of double-portion restoration. Inheritance and rejoicing over disgrace. The transition from disgrace to rejoicing centers on the concept of inheritance. In the original context, the land of Israel was the promised inheritance, the tangible symbol of God's covenant faithfulness. When the people faced exile, they lost this physical and spiritual anchor. Verse 7 assures them that they will not only regain their land, but will do so with a renewed capacity for celebration. Disgrace prevents genuine joy. It imposes silence and mourning. By removing the source of disgrace, God restores the ability to rejoice authentically in their inheritance. This joy is inherently tied to a secure identity rooted in divine favor. Unlike temporary worldly gains, this inheritance is secure because it is tied to God's enduring promise, guaranteeing that the resulting joy will not be fleeting but everlasting. This permanent quality distinguishes the divine gift from temporal satisfaction. The assurance of everlasting joy. The final clause solidifies the enduring nature of this restoration, and everlasting joy will be theirs. This promises a quality of happiness that transcends earthly tribulations. While earthly inheritance can be lost or diminished through political upheaval or natural disaster, the joy promised here is fundamentally linked to a spiritual reality that cannot be revoked. This points toward eschatological fulfillment, a joy that culminates in the ultimate realization of God's kingdom, where suffering is absent. The concept of everlasting joy is not simply unending happiness, but a sustained state of right relationship with the divine, which is the deepest human need. The historical trajectory of the people of Israel, marked by periods of exile and return, continually points toward this ultimate, permanent fulfillment guaranteed by the prophetic word. The security of this final inheritance ensures that the initial double portion received is merely a down payment on an eternal reality. Conclusion. Isaiah 61 verse 7 is more than a historical prophecy of restoration for ancient Israel. It is a profound theological statement about divine generosity and restorative power. It teaches that moments of profound shame and disgrace are not final descriptors of a people's fate. Instead, when met with divine intervention, these periods lead to a compensation that is superior to what was lost, marked by a double portion of blessing and an inheritance secured by everlasting joy. This verse offers enduring comfort, suggesting that true human flourishing is found not in avoiding hardship, but in experiencing God's transformative power to turn humiliation into honor and temporary sorrow into eternal celebration. Isaiah 61 verse 7 is more than just a verse. It is a declaration of hope and restoration. It challenges us to reframe our experiences of shame and disgrace, urging us to embrace the double portion that God promises. As we navigate life's challenges, let us hold fast to this assurance, looking forward to the everlasting joy that awaits us, together as a community and united in faith. In essence, our past does not define us. Rather, we are invited into a future of hope and joy. Wish you all a very blessed and a joyful Thursday. Nazarene.